This week on the Unpopular Opinion Show. I'm curious to know if Candice Owen's cray cray is actually stanky.
He looked like an ice cream cone. Like, that shit was just not impressed. I'm not crying, you're crying.
I hope he does right by her now. I'm trying to figure out how to say this that gets me in less trouble with black people.
You have voiced your grievances. Now, where'd you get that money from? My friend sent it to me.
I think you need to say clearly what happened.
Who gives a fuck? I don't care if you personally hit Candice Owens and her stanky
cray-cray.
No good thing starts with, I was thinking about my ex.
He ain't learned his lesson. That's a brother ain't gonna learn shit.
I know this is gonna be unpopular and I don't care. Let's keep this shit funky.
Yes, y'all. Welcome to another episode of the Unpopular Opinion Show. I go by the name of T-Storm, and as always, joined by my brother, my man, my homie, the man, the myth, the legend, DJ Mike Swift. What's happening, homie? What's happening?
A lot of those adjectives have never been used to describe me before. The man, the asshole, the jackass, the motherfucker, maybe. Myth and legend, never.
We speak this into existence. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Positive energy right now. Real quick before we move up, move ahead, I want to shout out Butter ATL. The
all right.
ATL ho. I saw my man Archie. Remember Archie? We ready?
I do.
He had the shit up. I was like, yo, I need that. Who I gotta go? Who I give it to? Butter ATL. So I reached out and got the shit right away. So yeah. And
that's fresh.
And they had my size. Let's be clear. So it's impressive by itself. It's an impressive thing. That's impressive by itself. What's up, Swift?
Not much, man. I was just listening to that intro, and now I'm curious to know if Candice Owen's cray cray is actually stanky.
Well, okay. Wow. Well, that's a quote from Dave Chappelle, and
yep.
In the same joke, he did say, "Well, I don't know if it stink, but it seemed like it might." So I'd have to agree. I don't know.
She posted a video. I want to say it was on Instagram, but I'm not sure because I saw it. Somebody else was reacting to it, and I saw it. And she was talking about men wearing dresses. Like she caught a lot of heat for, I think it was Harry Styles who posed on a cover of a magazine in a dress.
Okay.
And she said something about it, and she caught a lot of heat for it, and she doubled down. She was like, no, I hear you, but I don't like men that wear dresses, you know? And I was like, all right, you know.
I mean, to each his own. That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, there was a time in urban fashion where men wore women's jeans because back in the tight jean era, the skinny pants era, and then men's skinny jeans weren't skinny enough, so that cats was went over and started buying women's clothes. Hey, listen.
That makes me very sad.
It wasn't skinny enough. The men's jeans wasn't skinny enough, so they was doing it.
You want to know what I thought? I mean, we're just kind of on a random rant at this point, but you know what? The funniest thing I thought about the skinny jean era.
Okay.
I would see dudes put on skinny jeans that were super tight on their legs, and they would sag them, and then put on Timberlands. Like, you look like a ridiculous bobblehead or something, right? Like, these big ass shoes, these skinny ass jeans that are sagging. Like, I didn't get it. I just did not get it.
And let's not mention cats that were my size and bigger that was doing the skinny jeans and then had the big upper top and he looked like an ice cream cone. Like that shit was just not impressive. Like a damn, you know what I'm saying? Like
He said they look like an ice cream cone.
dripping in all, just sloppy. A sloppy ass ice cream cone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She went in though. I'll find the video and I'll put it down in the description. But she went in and
okay.
Shout out to Candice Owens. If you ever decide you want to do our show, I would love to have you here.
I don't know what to say to this sister. I get the impression by some of what she says, and I mean, and I try not to listen too much, but from what I hear her say, it increasingly more recently, it sounds like she's putting on for a certain audience, if you get what I'm saying. Like, does she really believe some of the shit she's saying, or is it intentional to get, approval from a certain audience? I don't know. I think I get, you know what I'm saying, at some point. Because some of it's so bizarre. It's like when she went in on George Floyd, that's like so bizarre. Why would you, first of all, attack a man, he was dead, and then to try to, like, it's just bizarre.
I think she lost a lot of people with that. Yeah. When she did that, she lost a lot of people. I think I've listened to her talk. I was about to say extensively. It probably hasn't risen to the level of extensively, but I've listened to her talk a lot. Mm-hmm. And how she got from straight up hardcore Democratic supporter to Republican Party advocate is a very interesting story. And her journey kind of mirrors my journey a little bit. I just didn't end up in the same place that she ended up, but she's very intelligent, very smart, very well thought. But I do agree with you. It feels like outside of the intelligence and the intelligent positions, some of it is a little bit outlandish, and it feels like cheerleading for the team. And I've said it on this show a million times. I don't that team mentality crap that we do with our politics.
Yeah. It's weird, but hey, listen, it's working for whatever reason. It's working for her. So yeah, kudos to her for, I don't know what, I'd be curious to know what her end game is. What is she trying to get to at some point? You know what I mean? Like, what is it? Does she have actual like political aspirations at all?
She says she doesn't.
She doesn't.
That's what she says.
What's it all?
She says she doesn't.
Then what's this all for? Is it for money? You know what I'm saying?
I don't
know. That's all. I don't know. Any case.
I would believe that it was altruistic if it wasn't so much team cheerleading. If it was equal criticism of both sides, then I would be led to believe, okay, she's just altruistic and doesn't like the state of the Democratic Party or the state of American politics. But when you get into that cheerleading for the other side, it's like you lose credibility to me in the altruistic arena. But
no, I can dig it.
I don't know. That was how many minutes did we spend on that?
Owens of all people. But her name is in the intro, so hey, why not?
Yeah.
Well,
I just got curious about her cray-cray.
Well, we'll leave that there. Moving on to a little happier times. The reunion for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, published on HBO Max last week, and I got a chance to sit and watch it. At this point, you haven't checked it out yet.
I have not seen it yet.
It was really, really good. Like, real talk. Like, okay. And I feel like they covered everything. You know what I'm saying? From James Avery's passing and definitely paying tribute to him, which was a tear jerking. It was one of those "I'm not crying, you're crying" moments. Like it was, it was one of those. I was sitting there watching it. I'm by myself watching it late night when I saw that it was up. I was sitting there like, yeah, I miss Uncle Phil too. Like it was very touching. It was very touching. And hearing some of the stories everyone told about James Avery, who played Uncle Phil on the show, and how he pushed everyone and was basically a teacher. He was, an accomplished thespian, you know what I'm saying? Like real actor. Will Smith told a story about the most famous, one of the most famous scenes. Like if you're a fan of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you know the father scene with Will Smith, and he talks about that final scene that he had with James Avery, and live he had messed up the line. He was really trying to be good with it, right? Like to impress James Avery, and he flubbed the line and went off. Damn it, and Mr. Avery guys, and he said, no, use me. And so they re-kicked it, and he got those tears to flow, and when he hugged him, so the scene that we see, what happened on camera is what they used, right? Is what happened, the second time he did it. And he said, as the camera panned off, James whispered in his ear, "Now that's acting." And he said he fell apart even more just in that. But in any case, it was done really well. But like I said, they touched on some of everything, including the original Aunt Viv. And yeah. And Will Smith and they had a moment where they actually sat together and talked, and he showed a portion of that to the rest of the cast. Well, to take it even further, some of that conversation didn't air on the special. And Will Smith did his own table talk where he sat with the actress. Why can't I remember her name?
Her name, and I was saving a picture so I could show it to the audience, but let me go back real quick. Janet Hubert.
Janet Hubert, yes. Some of the conversation that they had, I mean, wow, it was pretty deep, and she basically, well, I'll let you hear a little piece of the convo from the Red Table Talk. They played on the Red Table Talk that they didn't play in the Fresh Prince reunion special.
So much of what you said just destroyed, and everywhere I went, everybody just beat me up. We lost our house. I lost everything. You took all that away from me. With your words. Words can kill.
It's just heavy. Mm-hmm. It's just heavy, and it's funny. My body, it's like my body's shaking a little. It's like I'm trying to put some logic to it, but the sensation I feel is that's not who I want to be. And It's not how I want to make people feel. My whole life and career is centered on aggressively trying to make people feel the opposite of that.
Yeah. The other voice you hear is Dr. Romney. He sat with Dr. Romney on the Red Table Talk, and they viewed more in depth the conversation that he and Janet Hubert had before they did the Fresh Prince reunion. And he was explaining how he felt on it. I didn't realize the sister, had went through all that. No one ever really knew what all that happened. And that's what she, was coming across, is that she was, at the time, she was going through an abusive marriage. She was pregnant, and she and Will weren't getting along, but he didn't understand why. He felt like she didn't like him. And like she wasn't laughing at his jokes. And so ultimately they was like, okay, well, they're going to minimize her role. They offered her like 10 weeks of work and she couldn't, like 10 episodes, I think it was. And she couldn't work anywhere else. So it was a reducing salary. Her husband wasn't working at the time. She had a new baby. The relationship with her husband was abusive, and she turned down the deal. And so she wasn't fired. She was like, "Nah, I can't take that." And so she also mentioned, she said that, the words that Will Smith used and the company or whatever, surrounded it, labeling her as difficult or angry just killed her any chances of her getting any more work. And so for the last 30 years at this point, she's been fighting to clear her name. And this was finally getting to that place. But what I did like is that Will Smith, he accepted his role in what happened. He didn't excuse it away. He did say he was 21 at the time and but I didn't know I didn't know where you was going. I didn't know the deal they offered you. I didn't understand and now looking back at it, he's 50 now, 51 at this point. Looking back, you could see how much that she was clearly having a hard time. You know what I mean? With what was going on outside of work. You know what I mean? So it was pretty cool. See the family, the Fresh Prince of reunion and the Red Table Talk that Will Smith did. It was actually pretty good.
So I saw the Red Table Talk. Excuse me. I did not see the reunion, but I saw the Red Table Talk. And I was aware of like all of the drama and what she had been through because of a video that she released about 2 years ago that I saw, where she just kind of got on. I think it was right after her father had passed away, and she had vowed to clear her name because her name is her father's name, which I thought, I'd never thought about that before that way. But I was like, when she said that, I was like, yeah, So she released that video back in like 2018. And she really kind of went into a lot of what she talked about on the Red Table Talk. And it really put that beef into perspective, right? Because the narrative that we heard all the way up until then was the narrative of she was just difficult to work with. She's diva. She's a Juilliard trained actress from Broadway, now doing this lowly sitcom. And that was her attitude on set or whatever, which we find out is not true. And look, and I encourage everybody to watch that Red Table Talk, because what I saw and what I was very impressed with was two very emotionally healthy Black adults. At least one of them has done what seems like intense therapy and self-reflection, and they were able, both hurt, right? Because both of them, their impression of the dealing, the other one was the bad guy. Right. So they were both operating in that space of pain and hurt, but it was civil, it was healthy, it was very focused, and I was just impressed. To me, like, that was Black excellence to me. Right. A lot of people call Black excellence dudes waving around money on Instagram and driving in big cars with nice watches. No, what I saw was Black excellence to me. And I was very impressed by it. And I also had that I'm not crying, you crying moment.
Yeah, it was pretty good. To speak to what you just said about Black excellence, Tatiana Ali, who played Ashley on Fresh Prince, on the reunion, she said the same thing. Like, this is Black, like, talking about the show, this is Black excellence, but I'm not talking about the wealth. They played a rich family on TV, but that's not what we're talking about. Just the legacy and how they represented Black people on television. That's Black excellence. You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
yeah, very impressive. I was, like I said, it was actually pretty cool to see. It was really, really, really cool to see. And even like some of the memes and videos that Will Smith has put up since. There's one where the replacement, the sister that played Aunt Viv, the light-skinned sister, walks on to set and goes to flop down in a chair, and when she hits the chair, she changes into the original Aunt Viv with Will Smith in the background going, "Oh." So play with it a little bit. I still think during the show when they replaced her, that no one ever addressed it except Jazz was genius, was hilarious. A couple of times, if you're familiar with the show, you've had the scene that Jazz would look at the new Aunt Viv and go, "You know, since you had the baby, something's different about you." And, and Will Smith looking at the camera like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's kind of cold, but
it was. I mean, it played into the joke. You know, it was funny. But again, I'm glad they were able to bury the hatchet and start healing. You know,
right. And look, and I'm not gonna lie. When I was watching that, all I could think was, I hope he does right by her now.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I don't mean write a check and give her a check.
I do.
Give her an opportunity to work. Right.
How about both?
Well, I mean, that too, right? Like, what would you have made over the rest of the run of the show if we account for, increase per year, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But she does, honestly, I don't get the impression that she would take it. She doesn't seem like the type of person who would just take a check, but she would take advantage of opportunity. But yeah, cut her a check, but put her in stuff, give her opportunities to work. Like, her biggest hurt to me when I listened to that wasn't her and Will didn't get along. It was you took away from me my work, my ability to work and do the thing that I love. Because we're not talking a girl on Instagram who posted a lot of pictures or made some YouTube videos and got lucky and got on a show. Right. We're talking someone who dedicated their lives to the craft of acting and dancing and stage performance. And to have that taken away, it's like a carpenter losing his hands, right? It's crazy. So yeah, I hope that he does right by her, and it doesn't even have to be made public. Just on the backside, quietly do right by her.
I think, kind of seeing, I mean, as outsiders looking in, it looks, I would think that at this point, Will Smith wouldn't make it public of what you would just start seeing her on some projects, you know what I'm saying? Just cause. And if he has anything to do with those projects, he's going to pay her double. Yeah. Just cause, like, nah, not only you're worth it, but I owe you this. Here you go. You know what I mean?
And look, and other people, I mean, look, the beef between those two is between those two, but the reaction of the industry, they're all kind of culpable, right? You mean to tell me when did that show was on in the 80s? No, into the 90s.
It started in the 90s. It started
in the 90s?
Like 90, 91, something like that.
Okay. So you mean to tell me between 91 and 2020, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, Kenya Burris, all of these top shelf, top tier people didn't recognize her talent? Just outside of the beef, didn't recognize her talent and didn't call her in for nothing.
Well,
so I'm like,
they had heard she was, that reputation thing. She's difficult. And she hadn't been in anything because she was difficult. You know what I'm saying? And which was all false. So
Yes.
It's funny.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to say this that gets me in less trouble with black people.
Here we go. We have to come up with a drop. Here's where black people hate Mike. Boom.
How much of the Hollywood narrative and the Hollywood method are you going to hide behind? Would be my question. If we're talking black people helping black people build, black people do this thing, then stop using the blacklist Hollywood method, right? Sure, it got out there that she's difficult to work with, but between 90 and 2020, you couldn't pick up the phone and figure it out on your own. You couldn't give it an opportunity. You can't look beyond that it could possibly be a beef between those two people, right?
Right.
Especially with black people who suffer from that same type of thing. I'm sure Oprah got labeled and had to deal with some stuff. I'm sure, what is his name? I just said his blasted name.
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry has had to deal with some obstacles that were about perception of him that weren't real. So step outside of that, acknowledge that that thing exists, and deal with people on talent, right? And I'm not saying it's their fault, but I think the industry on a whole is culpable to some degree, a minor degree, but
it's out of, out of sight, out of mind. I mean, for some,
sure,
I guess, and the other thing, now I think about it, and we just bleed into another half of another story, but why Monique is fighting so hard to clear her name. She was just in the news recently talking about Oprah and Tyler Perry again, and public opinion about it right now is like, oh, come on, Monique, move on. And I think, and I kind of feel that way too. She continues to talk about her issue with Tyler Perry and Lee Daniels and Oprah Winfrey and how she felt blacklisted, blackballed, and how they treated her when she did Precious. Now Precious is over. How many? What is it? Has it been 20 years yet? Not quite years, but it's been at least 15.
Damn near.
Right? She won
2009.
She won an Oscar for that. So so and her beef was that they wanted her to work for free to go promote the the film across seas, and they weren't paying her for it, and she wanted to spend time with her family, and she just declined or whatever, all the things that she's been saying about it, and she continues to talk about it. Is to clear her name, and I understand that a little more now, because if you don't, then what happened to Janet Hubert happened to Monique.
So I don't know as much about the Monique thing. So I'm going to be speaking with fragmented experiences and knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the film that they asked her to go and promote, but they asked her to go and promote this film. Did they say go promote it on your own dime?
They weren't. I believe so. Like, okay, so the way I understand Hollywood is how films are done. When they pay you, it's not just for acting, it's for promoting the film as well. So
right.
Her complaint was she took a reduction in pay to do that film. And then they came behind and was like, okay, now you need to go promote it. And she's like, wait a minute, you didn't pay me to do all that. And she was in the middle of a tour, and at the time she had the Monique show on BET, and she had a lot of things going on. And when she came off of work, she was like, she wanted to spend time with her kid, her family, or whatever, right? And the money, they weren't paying her any extra to go promote the film, if I remember it correctly.
The question I would have is, was your reduction in pay negotiated and directly related to your lack of desire to promote the film? If the answer to that question is yes, I stand with her 100%. Mm-hmm. If the answer to that question is either no, maybe, or I don't know, then I got some more questions, right? And I got a little bit of damn judgment, right? And I think it's not only about her and what she's getting paid. So it's like a team sport. All of the people that worked on the film in front and behind the camera, the companies that put up the money to make the film as an investment, we're all in this together. And if you are a big star on this film, you going to 3 or 4 different places, talking on the radio, going to Japan to do international press or whatever, can make the difference between this film being successful and not successful. So, and that can make the difference between somebody being able to feed their children and not feed their children. So often when we think about film and music and that kind of thing, we think about the stars, the producers, the directors, the people who make the most money. But it's a whole lot of other people in there, right? So they get paid to do this job. If this film becomes successful, then that director, producer, they make another film, they hire these people. Those folks continue to feed their family. So when you sit down and you look at it and you say, well, me, you're kind of shitting on the family. And that's, so I get her pain. I get where she's coming from, but I also get the bigger picture of it all too. And it, to me, it comes down to what you negotiated. If you negotiated not to promote the film, then hey, that's on the producer, director, marketing people or whatever. Right. But if you didn't make that clear, there is an expectation of you that you work to make this successful.
Yeah, and those are things that we just won't know, you know what I mean? Other than what she's saying about what was agreed and what happened and all that good stuff. But I do feel, on one hand, like I said, I do feel like she does need to move on. You have voiced your grievances. You've said it out loud. I think she's even gone to court about it. Now do something. Now doing your own work. Now, continue to, you know what I'm saying, to prove them wrong, that you're not, show that you're not difficult. But I do, like
right. The more she harps on it, the more she actually lends credibility to their assertions that she's difficult to work with.
Right.
And here's what I think about Monique.
Mm-hmm.
I think Monique is hilarious. I think her stand-up is funny. I think her voice, just how she says stuff, her intonation is just funny. I think just from things I've seen her in and interviews I've watched, she does not impress me as difficult. She impresses me as vulnerable. And she guards and puffs up and barks to guard that vulnerability. And because I can see it a little bit, it actually endears me to her a little.
Gotcha.
What I would love to see her do is take advantage of the age that we live in, where you can self-finance, self-produce, self-release, and say, okay, I am disgruntled with the system. I don't like it. F the system. I'm an award-winning actress. Mm-hmm. I'm a multi-million-dollar generating comedic machine. I can do it myself.
Right.
Like Romany Malka.
Exactly. I agree.
And I think there are a number of people who would get behind a project that she did. I think people would watch it.
I agree. And she's also talked about Whoopi Goldberg telling her a couple of different things. Allegedly according to Monique, she advised Monique to leave her husband or to get him out of her business, basically. And there was something I remember hearing Monique say something to the extent of, because she's talking about, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for the little girl coming behind me. And Whoopi going, don't worry about the little girl behind you. Worry about yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you got to feed yourself. And Monique taking running with that. Yeah. Much like I'm tired of hearing about Monique with this, for the same part. I'm tired of talking about it.
Fair enough. Let's move on.
What's been going on with you?
Man, a little bit of everything and a whole lot of nothing. I read, just to put a fucking wet blanket on the laughter, read that Sinbad.
Oh yeah.
Sinbad had a stroke, man. That he did not pass. No. His family says it's, he's covering and they're optimistic that everything is going to be okay. But it just made me think of my childhood, man, and just like one of the first really, really funny, clean comics.
He was amazing. He talked about why he chose to do clean comedy. Like initially, that's he was saying earlier in his career that he was he cussed like everybody else or whatever, right? But he I think his mom to be able to watch his act, and so he kept it clean. And it's just, one of the funniest without cursing. Yeah. And real down to earth brother. I met him on at least one occasion at radio. He came through one of the stations I used to work for in New York. Cool dude. Genuine and naturally funny. Just, you know what I mean? And not like it's not forced. Some cats, some comedians I've seen and heard about as well. You feel like they're always on purpose, like they're trying, or I hate to feel like a comedian's trying out new material and we're just in general conversation and you're trying out material. I'm like, what are we doing here? Now, Sinbad was just naturally funny. He would just talk and stuff would come up and he cracked jokes on it. Really, he's that quick with it. And so all that to say, we wish him a speedy recovery. Really, really, really hope he makes it through.
Yes, absolutely. Your boy Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
You hear about that shit?
Well, that's what you get for making a deal with the devil. So I'm assuming you're referring to his legal troubles now.
Yes.
Yeah, see, that's what happens. For those that may not be privy to it or may have missed the story, we know shortly before the election, Lil Wayne, like days before, if I remember correctly, you
gotta hang on real quick. You gotta give me ability to share because we gotta have the visual aid with this.
Yeah. Filth, flooring, filth. How do we do this? Yeah. All right. Sorry, people.
Continue. Here's the visual aid to go with T's story.
Lil Wayne went and met with Drumpf and took the photo op. And to me, that's all they wanted in the first place. But he endorsed Donald Trump before the election. And there was lots of backlash for it. And that I would say it went away, but people ain't thinking about Lil Wayne. Shortly after, recently he's in legal trouble, federal legal trouble, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Please take it from there. Because
so he's up on gun charges, possession of firearm, possession of ammunition as a felon. Because he went to jail back in 2011, 2012, was it?
Yeah, he was in New York, New Jersey. He got caught with guns leaving. I believe it was Summer Jam. He was leaving Summer Jam with guns. So Summer Jam takes place technically in New Jersey at Giant Stadium. And New Jersey gun laws are just as strict as, are about as strict as New York. If you're out moving around, nobody gets conceal and carry in Jersey unless you got some sort of connection. New York is harder, but any case,
yeah,
guns in the car.
New York has some of the strictest gun laws in the country,
and Jersey's right behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was arrested. He was in jail for a minute. He is a felon.
He did a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is an on-record felon.
Mm-hmm.
Felons can't have guns, which we can argue that another time because
he's not legal.
Right. Should you always never ever be able to have a gun because you did some dumb shit 30 years ago? I don't know. But that's the case with Mr. Wayne. He was on a private jet in Miami. I don't know what caused people to search the plane. The man searched the plane, found guns and ammunition. They said, it was like under one of the seats on the plane, right?
It was in his.
They were like, say again.
I think it was in his bag. In his bag.
Was it in his bag?
That's what I read. It was in his bag. It wasn't just out in plain sight. They searched the plane. They searched the bags, and in his luggage, they found weapon and ammunition. But
what they did not find was him holding the weapons and ammunition, right?
Right.
Which the point of the reason I make that delineation, at the time they searched the plane and found all of the stuff, they said, you scamp, get out of here. Mm-hmm. And then they thought about it a little bit and they came back later and said, well, we have reason to believe that it was in your possession. Now, what do I think happened? I think the people on the scene self-interpreted the law, right? The word possession. Mm-hmm. And they said he wasn't holding it. It wasn't on his person. It probably could have been anybody's on the plane. So he wasn't possessing it. And then they got back and they talked, the U.S. attorney, and they talked and they said, well, it was his plane, chartered or owned. He was on it. He was a felon. It was in bags. Probably the people there were in his employ. So it can be construed that he, under those circumstances, possessed the weapons. And now they're going after him and he could get 10 years if he's guilty.
Man.
All I'm saying is don't drop the soap, bruh.
Yeah, listen. I mean, so I'm assuming that, will he reach out to the Trump campaign to ask for a pardon? To pardon, you have to admit guilt, and then you get to walk. I don't think they would give it to him though.
They won't even take his call.
No, not at all.
They won't even take his call.
Not at all. Or unless this was hanging over his head and he made the deal to go meet with Trump.
That's a good question. I don't know when all of this occurred. But if it occurred before he took the photo, that is a reasonable,
about a year,
a reasonable theory.
Yeah, about a year ago. Yeah, I think it was. It's federal. So I believe Drumpf and his minions are greasy enough, anything to win. We need to get the black vote. Black people like Lil Wayne. Hey, come here. Do this or else.
Okay. Let's assume that Wayne had these things hanging over his head and he cut a deal to take the picture in order to get a pardon down the road or make this thing go away.
Right.
Do you blame him at that point?
No, not at all. Hey, if it was me, I'd be tap dancing. I've been tap dancing in the picture.
With watermelon.
Yep. I've been pointing at Trump.
Because 10 years in the pen, you're gonna need your V honey tightening gel.
Oh, shit. You gonna need protective underwear.
Steel draws.
And a lock to go in it. I mean, could that have happened? Possible. Do I believe that that's what happened? No, not at all. I think he's not that. He wasn't that quote unquote woke, in the first place. He had an issue with saying Black Lives Matter or whatever the case, or.
and we won't go into that one again because we talked about it, I think, on episode 19 or 20. But I'll link to that video down in the description again because I'm telling you, it's 6 minutes of pure entertainment. It's just great.
Speaking of ego, last week I didn't watch the whole thing. I was fascinated by it, but the verses between Jeezy and Gucci Mane, did you get a chance to check any of that by any chance? Okay.
No.
I thought it looked to be entertaining. I saw the entertainment value in it, and having spent enough time in the South and being a fan of the music and was around during the time that Jeezy and Gucci Mane was coming up and were feuding, I was fascinated by it. I just didn't have a chance to watch it. But I did see this clip go out where Gucci. Okay, for those who may not know, I think people know this already, that they had some real issues, like some street issues. You know what I mean? They did a record together and something went south after, and they were beefing for a long time after that. And Gucci did a song called Truth, which talks about, I can't remember, I don't know if it was, because I'm getting two things mixed up. I do remember I was in Atlanta at the time when some people ran up in Gucci Mane's house. They ran up on him to try to snatch him out or do something or whatever. And subsequently, he defended himself and shot one of the motherfuckers, right? And they died. So that time Gucci Mane killed the dude, right? And he got off for self-defense. He was in his home. People, ran, kicked in. Right. Ran in, and he defended himself, and he was able to. He walked off of that one. I don't know if that had anything to do with Jeezy. I'm not sure directly, right? But there was somebody else in Jeezy's camp that ended up getting killed. And Gucci talked about it in a song called Truth. After the song, he kept riffing about the, that issue and kind of antagonizing Jeezy about it. Here's check this out.
I'm through talking. It's your turn to do the song.
That's
right.
Right. That's right.
Are we gonna do some music?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you, invitation. I did it as a real man. You feel me? Because I
told you straight off the dribble. I told you off the dribble, nigga. We can't do nothing if it ain't street. If I can't perform the truth, we can't do it.
It's all good. But let me say my piece. Let me say my piece.
Take off.
Let me say my piece. It's like this, bro. I extended my hand because I'm a real man. And the shit we came from in the street, dog, you see that we've been through it, dog. 20 years. And when I said I wanted to do this shit for the culture, that's what I wanted to do, nigga. I brought you here to show you the world care about what the fuck we got going on, because we are the culture. You feel me? Me and you, where we came from, what we been through, nigga. Us, me and you. All these kids out here doing what the fuck they do because they saw what went on with us, dog. So this shit ain't about me. This shit ain't about you. You feel what I'm saying? This shit by King Von. This shit by Doe B. This shit by Nipsey Hussle. This shit by motherfucking Pop Smoke, M3. And I'm real enough to do that, nigga, because one thing about it, two things for sure, three things for certain, nigga.
I'm the realest nigga in it. You already know.
And he went into his song after that. Interesting moment at the end of the versus battle. They did Icy. They performed Icy together. And Gucci, was like, I appreciate you extending the olive branch. I accept that. Yo, we partying after this, da. And so on just looking at it, it's like, wow, that was kind of dramatic. me looking at it, that was all for show. I believe that was all for show. Like they had issues 20 years ago or whatever, right? But them doing this versus battle together, they cleared that up a long time ago, I believe. And
it sounded like it. Just from the clip you played, it sounded scripted.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was well acted, but it sounded scripted.
I mean, they took a real situation and they played on it. They did the 5 heartbeats. You know what I'm saying? They did their version of the 5 heartbeats. We're gonna do it. We better do it right. And go, you know what I'm saying? So kudos to them for not allowing, past stuff to, influence or continue on as really, really grown ass men. But as people that's buying into it, I believe it was entertainment. There was real beef back in the day, but they cleared it up a while ago and they just kind of used that to sell. It's boxing. It's what Mike Tyson would do before a fight to sell tickets.
I'm glad you mentioned boxing. How much longer do we have? How much time? Because we got about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So we can't get out of here without talking about Adrien Broner.
Oh.
And I'm gonna be real careful because he can whoop my ass. So
oh man.
So I saw this story where Adrien Broner has gone out on Instagram and he was asking for people to send him money, $13, so he wouldn't have to start an OnlyFans. And I was like, right. Like my confusion was from ignorance. I was like, I'm sorry. Because I had heard of him before. Like, I think I stopped following boxing by the time he really started popping. But I had heard from him before because I saw an interview he did with Vlad. So I was like, oh, okay. I'm mildly familiar with him. Why is he asking for $13 so he don't have to start an OnlyFans? So I got curious. And I fell down my research rabbit hole.
Mm.
Back in 2019, he runs up on a chick in the club. He don't know this chick. And he just jumps on her and starts kissing her.
Oh.
And yeah, she's like, get off me, get off me. And he wouldn't get off until somebody was like, look, I'm taking pictures of this shit. I'm going to post it on the internet. And then he got off of her. Obviously, she sued him. Took him to court, whatever. He was ordered to pay, you know what? Let me get it right. The total came out to $830,000. But it broke down to something like $500,000 for one thing and default. Oh, okay. So she sued him, took him to court,
right?
Whatever. He didn't show up.
Oh.
So he got a default judgment issued against him, $500,000 in punitive damages, $250,000 in compensatory damages, and the victim's legal fees. That gets us to the $830,000.
Okay. So just shy.
He ain't pay it.
Just shy of $1 million, basically.
Yes, just shy. And I got the date wrong. It didn't happen in 19. It happened in the day before my birthday, June 9th, 2018. Okay. And it was in Cleveland.
Okay.
He didn't show up. He got the default judgment issued against him, $830,000. He ain't paid it. It's 2020. He ain't paid it. So a few weeks ago, I want to say like November 3rd, he went up on Instagram with a very interesting video. Do you have that over there?
Motherfucking money, huh?
We world champions, man.
World champions.
The visual of this.
Deep.
There's a table full of money, $100 bills, $50 bills, stacks of it.
Yeah. Two-man team, huh?
Spread out across the table.
Fuck a 3-man. This a 2-man weave now.
And we're not talking single bills. Like this a stack of bills.
Hundreds
of hundreds stacked up on top of each other, spread out across a table, and he's bragging about.
So, with $830,000 in judgments hanging over his head, this is the video he posts on Instagram. The the judge in the case, what is her name? Because I like to be as accurate as possible. Nancy Margaret Russo was like, "What, nigga? Yeah,
where you
come on, go back in this court."
I actually have some audio. This is Adrien Broner in court trying to explain himself to the judge.
I don't know what you guys want me to do. I'm answering the questions. When I answer questions, that's all I did have on me. I don't have them. I got rich friends. I do. I got rich friends. I got wealthy friends that take care of me.
Where's all the money coming from that you're flashing around on Instagram? Whose money is that?
So Your Honor,
I asked you.
It's getting sent to me. I don't have
who? Who's sending you money?
My friends.
They're sending you. Why would they send you money?
Because I asked if I need. Listen. I got a big heart. I got a big heart. And when I did have money and everybody asked me for money, I gave it to them. And now that they see me that I need help, if I ask,
so tell us who's sending you money.
My friends. I can ask Javante Davis, Al Heyman. I can ask Stephen Espinosa. I ask anybody.
How are they sending you the money? These are the kinds of things Mr. Chandler's going to need to know.
They send it through the bank. That's coming to my account. And I'm
being directly deposited into your account.
Yes.
Yet none of that information was provided to Mr. Chandler, was it?
I don't know how to do this, but I can show you.
I thought you didn't have any financial statement.
You said what?
That's what it says in here.
I don't have no money. I can send money and I spend it. I gotta spend it on bills.
Oh,
I
boy.
see. Okay.
Oh, I see.
I gotta spend it on bills.
Well, as I said,
I don't
you're
know.
not responding. I think you're not helping yourself right now.
But what I'm saying is this: how do I do all of this? I don't.
Now, where'd you get that money from? My friend sent it to me. Your friend sent you the money? I thought you said because you said you didn't have any money. So your friends are sending you money? Yeah, I got rich friends. Why are they sending you money? I used to give out money. Like when I had money, I would give money out to my friends and stuff, right? And now they see that I ain't got money. So they just send the money to me, and that's how they send it to you. How they send it to me? They send it on like Cash App and you put that in your account. Yeah, well, you didn't disclose that. I spent it on like bills and stuff. Man, shut the fuck up. You're not helping. Judge says you're not helping yourself. That's not good.
So the result of that horrible testimony was that he was put in jail. She put him in jail until a complete and truthful information about his finances will be provided to the plaintiff's law firm. So apparently he got out. And he I'm missing a career in law. I need to go to law school.
Man.
So he gets out and he takes to Instagram. And let's start at the beginning.
Cash, he actually asked specifically for $13.
How do I make a hashtag OnlyFans? I have so many videos that the world would pay to see, from me to all my brothers just acting a fool. Fuck that. I only got $13 and I am in debt $800,000. Hashtag OnlyFans me, please. So that's where the desperation began.
Oh, God.
Then it moved here. Look, everybody. Just Cash App me $13 so I ain't got to make a OnlyFans. My Cash App is, I'm not going to say it. If you're watching the video, you can see it. Whatever you can afford will be helpful. My $13 ass need it, and I will be hashtag grateful. Oh, it keeps going. This is the funniest one of all. We are $700,099 away from paying off my debt. With all help we can get, with you all help, we can get this done in no time. Let's go. Cash App $13, right? So I've been involved with fundraising initiatives in my past, not for myself, for legitimate 501c3s. And the number one rule is when you're that goddamn far away from your goal, don't post progress reports.
We are 799 away from the goal. In other words,
but
ain't nobody sent me shit, y'all. But I feel good about this.
Well, his feeling good was very well warranted.
Oh my God.
Because over the course of one day, yesterday was great, and I appreciate every donation. We are at $794,638. Let's go, y'all. Cash at me $13 to, I'm not going to say it. I love all my fans.
Oh.
That dude made almost $800,000 in one day from asking for $13.
No, wait. Is he saying that's how much he's gotten? Or
yes.
Or he's because he's not very well read. I you know what I'm saying? I don't did he make a mistake? Is he saying this is how much he has less to go, or that's how much he got? That's what I'd be curious.
The way it is written, that's how much he has. But you do make a very valid point. It could be flipped around. But look, here's the thing. The comments are amazing. Rel_4 Eva Mobbin, because I gotta shout you out because you're hilarious, sir. You asking for donations on a Cash App account named About Billions.
Very, very, yes. Point that shit out. And this is dude, like, wasn't he with the money team? With the Floyd Mayweather's company, Money Team? Isn't that he was signed to that?
I don't know. I do not know.
Oh my God, man.
The last post that we got associated with this is, I just want to thank everybody who, oh my God, I'm going to read this how it's written. I'm not going to edit the grammar.
Okay.
I just want to thank everybody who's supporting me through THRU, this situation I'm going through. Like I said before, anything you can afford is more than helpful. Please Cash App $13.
I'm not laughing.
Oh, now so people going at him in the comments, right? His name is Adrien Broner, AB, right?
Right.
So they say AB equals always begging. Thank you for that comedy, Polo Man. You are hilarious, sir.
Always you're begging ass. I'm flipping backwards. BA, he begging ass.
Slug Life Boxing on Instagram says AB equals already broke.
Yes. Oh man.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Look.
I don't mean to laugh at. I'm not laughing at his misfortune, but he's there for clearly poor choices. If he's
which means we cannot call it misfortune.
If he's actually really broke, because if he ain't got kicked out of his house, whatever house he owns,
and it's a very nice house.
You haven't heard that has to sell his house. And he was just counting money on Instagram that the judge called him out on.
A lot of money.
Yeah. So I really don't feel sorry for him. Really don't.
I'm trying to see if he's associated with the money team.
The dude's in shape. Go ahead and do the OnlyFans, dude. Like, what? If I was in shape enough, I'd do OnlyFans in a second. Why not? No, okay, no. Let me walk that back. The wife, that's why not. I'd get beat up. Okay. On the other hand, yeah.
Well, I don't know. Her standard is don't fuck up this money.
Yes.
If you go and say, baby, we can make more money.
You might go, all right, well, what you waiting on?
Go put on that sexy thong I bought you.
You need a photographer? Need more lights?
He did, he said he has a fight coming up in January, which, COVID. And that he should make what I think what he said was a nice purse so he could pay this debt.
You don't want to say how much,
but it is of note. I don't think he's fought in a while. Let's see. He lost to Manny Pacquiao back in January 19. Damn, Pacquiao was 40.
Pac-Man ain't no joke. Still.
Yeah.
Dude, that wasn't.
You still got hand speed and shit at 40. You a bad motherfucker.
I mean, that's a dude that bounced back from getting knocked out badly. I saw that fight real time when Pac-Man got knocked out. It was like somebody shut the lights off on him in mid throw. It was
like a robot powering down.
You ever hear the Microsoft when it powers down? That's what and he hit the ground hard.
Okay, so
yeah.
Now you have to make that. You have to make that meme. You have to find the shot and then put the.
But
Broner hasn't. He hasn't won a fight in 3 years.
Jeez.
But his next fight, he's demanding $10 million.
Well, if it's already his next fight or the one he's got coming up in January.
I don't know because I'm gathering information from multiple different sources, so I don't know if this is for the fight coming up in January or. But look, based on what I found, he's a bit of an outlandish kind of guy, and he's known for his antics. And he is no stranger with the law. He was arrested here in Atlanta in 2018 for groping a woman in a shopping mall.
Jeez. So he
was in trouble for threatening to shoot gay people.
Oh, jeez.
And he at one time he was wanted in Florida for, I think, traffic violations, and decided a good idea would be to go on TV at a Lakers game.
Right. I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, you know what? I was going to say something. I thought about it. I can't beat him either, so I'm gonna leave it alone.
Nope. Nope. He'd knock me the fuck out.
Yeah, man.
Not gonna lie.
Good luck to him. Let's see how this works out. I mean, like I said, I don't feel sorry for him because he has the money. He's just fronting like he don't. He's able
or at the very least, he has the ability to make the money
quickly. He got the money. He got money. He has to, you know what I mean? He ain't really in a bad way. He just fronting for the judge.
Do you want to talk about this Kamala Harris watermelon, or do you want to save that for the after show?
Let's do that on the after show, man. Like that requires some time.
What do you get when you mix a racist cop, Halloween, Kamala Harris, and a watermelon? Join us in the after show to find out.
Folks, we appreciate you watching. We appreciate you listening. Hey, listen, if you haven't subscribed as of yet, please make your way over to unpopinshow.com, hit the subscription button, go to videos. It'll take you to, you know what? Just subscribe wherever you at. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or Spotify or SoundCloud or our website, unpopinshow.com, subscribe. If you're on YouTube watching this right now, you can see me. Just hit the button. It's right in the corner of the video. It's like right. It should be like here somewhere. Yeah, just hit that button right there and hit the notifications and continue to hear us crack unwarranted. I'm at a loss here. I just got a serious brain cramp. I think Adrien Broner is rubbing off on me.
Look, like, subscribe, comment on the YouTube video. You'll be entered in a drawing to get $100. Once we reach 100 subscribers, we're going to pull one from the comments. The more often you comment, the greater your chances of winning. And we will, while supplies last, bless you with an Unpoppin neck gator so you can support the show that you're in the Unpoppin community, and protect yourself from these COVID streets all at the same time.
Right. Absolutely free, by the way. While supplies last. I still feel like
the neck gator is free. Shipping is $250.
Joking. He's joking. That's not true. It's free. It's free. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And if you're watching this on YouTube, stay tuned for the after show. This is the Unpopular Opinion Show. T-Storm, Mike Swift. We see you next time. Peace.
Peace. Thanks for checking out the Unpopular Opinion Show. If you like this content, make sure you like, subscribe, and smash the notification button down below so you can keep getting more from T-Storm and myself.
Yeah. More jokes coming on. No, they beep. Damn it. Okay, fine.